How do I stand out when it feels like everybody does what I do? This is what we are going to be talking about today on the Everyday VOpreneur Podcast. Thanks for checking out the summer series where I'm inviting voice actors onto the show and giving them an opportunity to ask their most pressing business and marketing questions and get them answered. Nessa Raven, welcome to the show. Let's talk through your question.
Thanks, Mark. Great to be here. It's a thrill to join you. I love your work and I love your podcast. So
Thank you.
I feel lucky.
Right on. So let's do it. Well, what's your question?
So, Mark, I am an emerging artist, as they're called here in the VO world, and trying to get my feet under me.
Okay.
We all have a limited amount of time and resources, and I was thinking before we started talking, like, what is this like? It's as if I'm maybe a doctor and I could go into, I could become a neurosurgeon or I could become a pediatrician. I'm an athlete. I could be a tennis star or I could play football. Yeah, that's me.
Right.
So, oh yeah, become a voice actor. Well, where should I be
What do I do?
focusing? What's my niche? And, the nature of this is that we are solopreneurs and, not a lot of folks until you're known, you're not known. And so, the people selling the commercial training are saying, yeah, do commercials. And the people who are selling audiobook training are like, yeah, of course you should. So
Yep.
that's my question. What should I be
Where do I
focusing
go?
on? Yeah.
It's the blessing and the curse of this industry. The blessing that there are so many different directions that you can go and so many different ways that you can earn a living, build a client base.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a blessing. But then the curse is that there are so many different ways that you can build a living in voiceover and so many different directions that you could take this. And so it can actually work against you because it can feel very overwhelming and very polarizing. I think that we are often sold the idea that we have to go and do commercial first always.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's honest enough. I think it's just a byproduct of how the industry used to work, right? Once upon a time, you had to have an agent in order to get access to opportunity.
Mm.
And the only way that you were going to get an agent was to have a commercial demo. So it stood to reason that everybody went out and got a commercial demo, and usually we'll call it a broad spectrum narration demo. There was a little bit of everything on that narration demo, but you basically went and got those two demos, and then you went and got an agent, and that was it. That was, okay, you built your business. Now you just wait.
Mm-hmm.
We've evolved from that. Although sometimes it feels like we haven't evolved from that because the advice is still often go get a commercial agent, go get your commercial demo, go get a commercial agent. And maybe that's the right advice for somebody, but for somebody else, maybe it's not. I can tell you that when I was starting out, I followed the money. And I'm not ashamed to admit that I followed the money. And the money said, work in non-broadcast, my friend. You are making a crap ton of money working in non-broadcast. So do the corporates, do the explainers, do the e-learnings. Like, I wasn't pursuing credits. I didn't need to be, on a Pixar movie or the voice of a AAA video game or whatever. I just want to pay my bills. I literally, I followed the money, and the money said, this is what you're booking. And for some people that works. I'm at a different point in my career now where I figured out where I want to go. I figured out that I want to do the whole documentary thing. And so I'm also at a point in my career where I don't have to pursue all of the other stuff right now. I've, been smart. I built a cushion. Family's good, right? So I can take some of the time, the effort, the devotion away from all of those other types of work to devote it into figuring out how do I crack the nut in this documentary space. And so I was able to figure that out and decided, like, look, that matters to me more than anything. Now, it doesn't mean I'm going to turn down a really great e-learning opportunity or great corporate opportunity or whatever. I just know that this is where I want to be able to put all of my focus. I figured that out. And part of the reason that I figured that out is because it's the content that I love. If you look at my Netflix recommendations, it's almost all documentary. Right. If you look at my Amazon Prime recommendations, it's cheesy natural disaster movies and documentary. I mean, I'm the guy that subscribes to PBS so I can watch Nova. Like, I'm that guy.
Right.
And so I was able to take that and follow that and wait, why are you not going after this kind of work,
Right,
right?
do the thing you love, the thing that speaks to you rather than trying to fit yourself into a box that isn't isn't your size and it's not your passion.
Yes.
So yeah, the big commercial gigs, great, or whatever, e-learning, super, but if it's not what you're excited by, it sounds like you're at a point where you can follow what you're excited by.
Yeah. And look, I will be honest, I could not have done this, you know, 10 years ago. Not that I couldn't have
Mhm,
pursued documentary, but I couldn't have went all eggs in that basket.
mhm,
I needed to make money. I needed to pay the mortgage. I needed to support my family. I needed to build a nest egg and all of that sort of stuff. And I did the things that got me to do that. But then as I was doing it, I started to figure out, man, this is really where I want to go. Like, this is what I
mhm,
really get excited about. And so I do think there's something to be said for sitting down and thinking through that. What is the thing that gets you excited? Because here's the other thing that I've discovered in my career. The best voiceovers that I've ever done, regardless of genre, the best jobs that I've delivered are the ones where I have some sort of connection to the content. When I know what I'm talking about, when I understand the story,
mhm,
when I use the product or the service or the brand or whatever, right? I struggle sometimes picking up a script where I just don't get it. I don't right. I don't. Nope, I don't use that. No, I don't support that. No, I don't like that. Nope, that's not a thing. Whatever. I can't go in and fake it like some people can.
mhm, mhm,
And not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, that's why they call it acting. But I'm not a natural actor, and so I've got to play to my strengths, and my strengths are when I am delivering something that I have a connection to in some way. I just tend to do better, and so that would be one of the other questions that I would be asking myself
mm,
is what are the things that I have that connection to? And I think that can play out in a couple of different ways too. That could play out in narrowing down a genre. It could just as easily play out in narrowing down a sector. So what I mean by that is, if you spent 15 years of your life working on Wall Street for an investment bank and you spend every waking hour on Robinhood and FinTwit, trying to learn what the latest stock plays are, there's a clue there. And
mhm,
there's
mhm,
content there. And it
right,
could be commercial, it could be e-learning, it could be explainer, it could be whatever. It could be documentary, but it could
mhm,
be in that space because that's something that you're passionate about. And so you narrow that down and you figure out how do I market there. So it doesn't specifically always have to be about genre. It can. Sometimes it's just about finding a place where you fit. And to be clear, while you're doing this, it doesn't mean that's all you do. It just means that you find a place where, part of what you asked me off camera was I feel like I'm just one of, a large pool of people who do the exact same thing that I do, is basically what
mhm,
you were saying. And how do I
mhm,
stand out? That's where you might be able to stand out because when you find that genre that you bring that passion to, or you find that subject matter or that sector or whatever that you bring that passion to, or that knowledge, that background, that experience,
mhm.
whatever, that is probably going to make your audition stand out a little bit from everybody else.
Right, right. Because the middle-aged white lady, dime a dozen, let me tell you, it's not what the agents are looking for from what I can tell. At least the commercial agents who I've
I think
reached
they've
out
got I
to.
think they've got a lot, but I don't even think that it's specifically that it's, the middle-aged white lady. I think it's just there's only so many spots that you can put on your roster for that whatever. It could be the middle-aged
Mm,
white lady, it could be anything, male, female, like name it. It could be anything. But I don't even want to I wouldn't let yourself get caught up in that too much either
okay.
because that can become a really dangerous mindset that it makes you want to not even try. What's the point?
Mhm,
Right?
mhm,
What is the point? I sat in on a really interesting. I'm debating whether or not I should say this right now. I sat in on a really interesting session at VO Atlanta. I won't call anybody out specifically, but it was with a very reputable agent. And the session started with this reputable agent saying, I got good news and bad news. What do you want first? And everybody's like, we'll take the bad news. And the bad news was if you're a 50-year-old white guy, it's, it's not a good time for you.
Mm.
And I was like, oh, well, then I might as well leave this
I'm out.
session. Like,
Right.
forget
Right.
it. Right? I mean, I'm not quite 50 yet, but then there was the good news. And the good news was it's never been easier to get yourself found.
Mhm.
And so taking advantage of social media, taking advantage of the tools that are available to us, there
Mhm.
is an opportunity for us to pick something and go after it. And so that's why I started doing these docu-shorts. And I'm posting, 1 or 2 a week, and I'm sharing them across all the different social media platforms because I can sit around and I can wait for the opportunities to find me,
Mhm.
or because I know exactly the kind of opportunity that I want, I have access to a worldwide platform
Right.
for free where I can go and I can pursue it,
You're curating your content for that, for
trying to get
those.
in front of that audience.
Right. Right.
And so if I had just taken the first part of what she said,
Mhm.
I'd be like, all right, well, thanks, voiceover. It's been good.
Laters.
Moving on.
Right.
Right?
Right.
But it's a mindset thing.
Mhm.
Because the other thing that I know to be true from having been in the industry for a few minutes is that there is only one me.
Mhm.
And so ultimately, yes, we all have a home studio. We all have Source Connect. We all are professionally trained. We all offer quick turnaround. Name all the things. We
Mhm.
all do all the things. But nobody else brings my unique voice, take, and perspective to the story.
Mhm.
Nobody else brings your unique voice, take, and perspective to the story. It doesn't matter if there's, you know, 10 women or 1,000 women who
Right.
are auditioning for the role. Only you bring your voice, your take, your perspective.
Mm.
But if in the back of your mind, you're thinking, I'm one of 1,000, what am I even like? What's the point?
Mhm.
How much do you think that impacts your unique voice and take and perspective?
Mhm. Mhm.
And so much of it is a mindset thing.
Right.
And I
Right.
really think that. And I mean, maybe it's just the, eternal Canadian optimist in me and trying to see the glass half full or whatever. But I do believe that there's something to that. Yeah, okay. Maybe there's a few less castings for one group than there is for another group right now, but I've also been in the industry long enough to know that that could change next week.
Right.
Right? What
Right.
they're looking for right now could be different from what they're looking for in a week, is probably going to be different from what they're looking for in 6 months, is probably what they're different from what they're going to be looking for in a year. And so focus on what you can control. So the
Right.
question is, what resonates with you?
Mhm. Mhm. You're asking?
Is there a genre?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there a subject matter?
Yes. I keep thinking about why I can't quit, because if you run the numbers on, what I've spent for training, equipment, blah, blah, blah,
Yep.
you're crazy, lady. Like,
Got
you
to make
sent
that
out a,
investment back. Yep.
yeah, yeah, you sent like, what is the definition of insanity? I'll tell you. However, I can't quit because I know that I have something that needs to be said and that people need to hear. As an
I
artist,
agree.
right? So
I
it's like,
agree.
thank you. Okay, done. So it's like finding my people, finding the people who want to hear me and who provide the words. You give me words, I will say them, and I will give them meaning and, lightheartedness or gravitas, whatever it is that's needed. Because, I'll tell you, I'm 56 years old, and I I wasn't born yesterday. I was born in 1969, to do the math, and everything has led me to this. And
Mhm.
so, what resonates with me, being the child of socialists in rural Vermont. What resonates with me is stories of people struggling through mental health crises. What resonates me is theater and performing and opera and poetry. And so, when I was at VO Atlanta and I walked into a room full of audiobook people, I was just like, oh, wait, there we go. They speak my language, they were many of them recovering theater people, whatever you want to call it. And it's this storytelling, I think, that is something that I want to go toward.
It's where the stories are getting told, right?
Mm-hmm,
The
mm-hmm.
stories that you're talking about could potentially be getting told there.
Mm-hmm.
So you may have just answered your own question. Where do you
Well,
fit? Where do you go?
right.
Audiobooks might be that place where you find your voice and tell your stories.
Mm-hmm.
And you narrow it down even further by looking for those types of stories that you want to tell. And then you create content and build your brand by leaning into some of those things, by doing poetry readings, and short stories, and things of that nature that really resonate with you, that really speak to you. I mean, I can see you light up when you talk about
Mm-hmm.
it. Like your
Mm-hmm.
whole demeanor changes, your
Mm-hmm.
posture changed a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
right? Use those sorts of things to create some content, build some credibility, establish a brand. Look for those stories that you want to tell. If audiobooks are your people, if
Mm-hmm.
that felt like your people and you want to tell those stories.
Commercials are telling stories too. There's a story in
Yeah.
everything, and
Yeah.
that's absolutely true. I
Yep.
guess I trained with J. Michael. I've trained with Brad Hyland. I cannot get the theatricality out of my because I'm so like the words, and so it's a struggle. And I think that commercial reads are conversational, all the words they're using to get you to just be off the cuff. It doesn't come naturally to me.
I feel
Um,
that hard as a recovering radio announcer. I haven't been
oh
on the air.
yeah,
I think I haven't been on the air since what, 2011, and I still can't get it out of me sometimes.
yeah, yeah. I can see that would be, yeah, right up there with being a stage actor. Like, what do you mean I'm not supposed to speak to the back of the house? That's how I speak. No.
Yep.
So, yeah, yeah.
It's the other thing about this too is that there's not a wrong answer, because there are 100 genres to choose from.
Mm,
And so you can go down a road, pursue the road, and if it doesn't work out or you decide that it's not the right one, there's another road to pursue. I mean, I've had a time where my entire business was built on explainers. I
mm,
had a time where the vast majority of my business was built on corporate. I couldn't book anything else. I had a time where it felt like the only thing I ever did was e-learning.
mm,
And I just followed I followed the money and followed the fit.
mm,
But I was willing to make those course corrections along the way, right? When I recognized, all right, well, the trend in explainer seems to be shifting. Where can I go? Where can I go now? What can I look
mhm,
at next or whatever?
mhm. Right, so
But
being
it sounds to
flexible.
me like maybe audiobooks is something worth pursuing, because there are some stories that it sounds like you might like to tell. So
Mhm,
maybe
mhm,
that's where you fit. And that's the whole thing, is just looking within. What gets me excited? What lights me up? What's the audition that you are going to, if you were doing a, Voice 123, or, one of the online casting sites or whatever, what are the auditions that when you're sitting on the couch at 9 o'clock at night and you're trying to
mm.
decide, do I want to watch a show? Do I want to read a book? Do I want to go to bed? And an audition pings on your phone. What's the audition that's going to get you to go into the studio at 9 o'clock at night when you really don't feel like doing it? I mean,
It is. Yeah, yeah, it's
right?
if I yeah, yeah, absolutely,
That,
that's a great way to think about it.
because I can tell you, when my phone pings at 9 o'clock at night, there's some stuff that I'm like, I'll do it in the morning if it's still there. And there's
Mhm,
some stuff where I'm like, we got to pause the show for a minute and I got to
mhm.
go into the booth.
Right, right, right,
and, and,
yeah,
and I know what those are for me. Think about what those are for you.
okay, okay.
All right.
Great, amazing, amazing as always, Mark, thank you.
I hope it's been helpful.
Absolutely.
Well,
words of
thank you
wisdom.
so much for coming on the show, Nessa, and asking your question. And I look forward to figuring out where you decide to go.
Thank you. Thank you. I will keep you posted, Mark. I appreciate your help so much. All right. And see you on the socials too.
Sounds good.
All right. Bye.